Rebuild, a Phins podcast with Ty and Cass.
What it do, Dolphin fans? Welcome to another episode of the Rebuild podcast. Going to talk all things Miami Dolphins football as always. I am your co-host today, Tyler. As always, we have the man, the myth, the legend finally back with us today. Cass, how are we doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Glad to be back.
Yeah, we needed you, man, because the views say when you're on the show, we just get our most views. So we are grateful with your presence as always. But yeah, good to have you back and good to talking some Miami Dolphin football.
Glad to satisfy our 23 followers and our
25 subscribers. Yeah, we got 25 subs and we're approaching 1,000 total views on our YouTube channel, which again, as I said the last few episodes, we are aware that the one and only Omar Kelly will be joining the pod as soon as we reach 2,500 total views. So we're creeping along slowly but surely, but we appreciate all the support and views that we've gone up to this point. Before we get going, Cass, got to get the stuff out the way. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that QR code right there. Also follow us on Twitter at Rebuild the Phins. Again, we appreciate all the support and let's get started here. It's been a few weeks since you and I have talked. I wanted to get your reaction a little bit to the Super Bowl and kind of seeing if there's some blueprint there for the Dolphins to kind of start with this rebuild, what the Seahawks are doing, over there. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it was a boring Super Bowl only because it was a defensive Super Bowl, right? So
yeah.
Listen, they played well. It was just not great to watch. The only blueprint I could see is if we fully lean into being a defensive team.
Yeah.
And we get above average quarterback, we'll be fine. But I don't know. Like right now, I'm not optimistic. And like Super Bowl is so far off for anything on our radar.
But you agreed that, that there is another way. Obviously, there is another way of winning a Super Bowl and being a dominant team like the Seahawks were last year, this past season. You don't need the Patrick Mahomes. You don't need the Josh Allens. You can have a dominant defense. You can have, pretty decent quarterback play who doesn't make mistakes. And, it's something that, the Dolphins have had a hard time finding a quarterback over the last 25 years. And, they're obviously in the market to find another one. And, you're going to get lucky. But, again, Jeff Hafley comes from the defensive side. He did pretty well with the Packers over the last couple of years. Obviously adding Micah Parsons helps that. But, maybe the Dolphins could be a team that, focuses heavily on the defense. I mean, look at the AFC in general, right? Denver's dominant defense. The Texans were dominant defense. Obviously, Seattle was dominant in the NFC. So it is something that, potentially could be done.
To be fair, I thought our division was a lot tougher than I think it is now. At the beginning of the season, I thought it's a lot tougher than I think it is now. I think the Bills are beatable. I don't think the Packers are that good of a team. I think, they played well, but I also think luck with like their matchups and Bo Nix and stuff injury. So, and then of course the Jets. But I still don't think we're anywhere close to competing with them. We'll see what happens in the offseason with the draft. But we're not. I mean, our division isn't like a powerhouse that we can't,
Yeah, the scariest part. Yeah, I mean, the scariest part is obviously the Bills have a superstar quarterback, of course, and it looks like Drake May is going to be that as well. So it's kind of and obviously the Jets are going to, they're looking for quarterback and they have a lot of pieces with draft picks and capital to figure that out. So it's a tough road for sure. But I mean, I agree. I think, I said this on previous episodes. Like, I don't think as the Miami Dolphins, like, we're afraid of the Buffalo Bills. We're afraid of the New England Patriots. Like, divisional games, like, anything happens. We obviously beat the Bills' ass last year with basically Tua, who couldn't throw the ball at all. We had a really good game against the Patriots week 2 where Devon Achane stepped out of bounds late that probably won that game. So I know the teams are going to be different, but we're not afraid of these guys. Like, we just got to figure this shit out and start stacking up some players, and hopefully we'll be at least in contention, here over the next few years.
Yeah, and I mean, Josh Allen hasn't hasn't won big games in the playoffs when it mattered. So, and he's been MVP as well. So,
Yeah.
I don't. Again, I don't know how scared I am of those two teams, but I mean, we're still not anywhere close to them.
Yeah. So speaking of that, kind of transition a little bit. You obviously heard the news. I know you were away this last week, but some of the dominoes officially have fallen, in
Yeah,
terms of things that I don't think were surprising. I'm sure you're not shocked by it at all, but talking the releases of Tyreek Hill, James Daniels, Westbrook Akini, and, not officially Bradley Chubb. It wasn't officially announced, but we know that's obviously coming. So I
yeah.
wanted to get your thoughts. I talked a little bit last episode about how I felt about it, but what did you think overall of those four players getting the boot essentially?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a signal of like we're starting over from scratch. Tear everything down and build it
Yeah.
up. And I expect that decision to come soon. But the Reek thing was long overdue. It's super obvious. The one that I was a little surprised about was Chubb. I thought we could at least get something for him before the deadline, if
Yeah.
we release him now. That was the only one that I kind of scratched my head, but the other ones I was like, yeah, they're trying to, get under the cap. What were they like with those moves, 23 million under?
No, I believe I think they're currently $3 million under the cap or $4 million under the cap. So they're cap compliant. Obviously, the Tua things still to be done. The Minka Fitzpatrick things, there were reports that there's been some trade talks with him. So they still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
My
but
my thing about the Bradley Chubb, and you kind of mentioned it, was the season. And I talked about this last episode. The season was over in November of the trade deadline.
yeah,
And we traded Jalen Phillips for a third to the Eagles. I do not understand why they did not move Bradley Chubb, which again, reports were that they got offers from, they just didn't want to do it. And
yeah,
you got to remember, Chris Greer got fired in October. He was not
yeah,
the guy leading it. It was Champ doing it. So they were kind of already in this process of like transitioning into new leadership, whether it was him or obviously the interim, he was trying to keep the job, and Mike was trying to keep his job. But man, what a mistake. You could have
yeah.
traded him for anything, like whatever it was, any draft pick for Chubb would have
Mhm.
been ideal, and you just got rid
Yeah.
of him for nothing. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and I think I misspoke. I said we're 23 million under. I think that those four moves would save us 23.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah, some of the cap things, it's
Yeah,
confusing. We're not by any means experts in the cap. We just here to talk kind of like on a fan perspective. But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, the Chubb thing is
It just I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's a hiccup, a misstep, whatever. We'll chop it up and move on. I know they need to shed some money, so. But that was the only thing. Everything else, I was just like, okay,
the
like
one player I was a little, you know, not that he, I don't, we never saw him play. He only played 3 snaps. It was James Daniels.
yeah,
Was a little like, I thought maybe that they would try to figure that out because, dude, our O line is brutal. Like we have needs everywhere.
yeah,
And obviously, like he was not in the plans, but I thought maybe just because of position that maybe he would have been the one to say the Chubb. I had no problem with, I wanted him traded, but in terms of them doing it now, don't have a problem with it. The money that he was going to get over the next, year or two, obviously did not make sense for where we're at.
yeah,
Nick Westbrook Akini, like he sucked, like, 11 receptions, like he didn't do anything, fine. And then obviously Tyreek, his cap number was way too high. He's coming off a catastrophic injury, like no problem there. But I thought maybe because of position of offensive line, maybe James Daniels would have been someone where we at least got to see him play next year. Hopefully he got healthy. But overall, I mean, yeah, this is like you said, it's a step of the complete teardown, and it's crazy, man. Like where we were a
yeah,
couple years ago and to where we're at now, it's pretty
yeah,
wild.
yeah. It's just, and I've said this a few times. It's just frustrating how our rebuilds are so much slower and
Yeah.
so much more unsuccessful than other teams, except maybe the Jets.
Yeah, I
uh,
was gonna say I don't think
yeah,
there's
maybe the
both
Jets.
both bottom feeder teams in the AFC East are just disasters. I mean, it's every
Yeah,
year there's something that goes on with whether it's them or us. It's
yeah,
frustrating, as fans. It's just we're always in the same 2-3 year window bucket of doing the same shit over and over.
Yeah, but Sully said his thing is finding talent in the draft. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is what he's gonna have to do. So I mean, we'll see. I'm more excited about the draft than I have been in a long time. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, speaking of the draft, I mean, I know we won't get too much into it, but I talked last episode. What do you think about them moving? I mean, obviously, to me, making sense where they're at 11 this year, trying to move down and try to get as much capital as possible. Whether that is, I mean, I know it's not a strong draft class. I know there's not that like superstar player, but I feel like there's depth in certain positions where, I feel like the Dolphins should be a team that have their phones open, and if some team wants to move up to their 11th spot, like we are open for business, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
we're not in position to we're not in position to not take phone calls and get draft capital. Like we need draft capital is like really bad, obviously.
yeah. I agree, and I think it's tough. Like I love Waddle, and I love HN, but I think like for them to even just do better in their career, I think it's best that we trade them and get what we can and see if we can move up. To me, it just depends on the player, and the draft is so hard, but
Yeah.
we have so many like what position don't we need in the draft? That's the tough thing. So if we can
We
get
do have
and
a
this is
lot of needs. We do have,
yeah
well, okay. So that was going to be one of our topics about Waddle. Because again, HN, like the Waddle, here's the thing. The Waddle contract, from what I'm reading, is not as easy to move. His
yeah
his cap number is very low this year, but it bumps up like crazy next year in 27. So a team that takes him on is going to most likely need a restructure because of the
mhm,
cap number and him being a receiver. But excluding that, like just as the player itself, like the numbers like work itself out. Like, what would you want for Waddle? Because there were reports last year in the trade deadline that the Bills offered a first round pick, which again, the first round pick for the Bills would be in the 20s. They were
yeah
obviously, there were
yeah
reports that the Pittsburgh Steelers were interested, and that's being kind of flown around a little bit.
yeah.
Again, they made the playoffs, so it's like a late first round pick. I don't know. Like, are we really giving up on Waddle for a late first when your hope is to find another Jalen Waddle? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, to me, like first round, early second round is best case scenario for
Oh, if we're not getting a first round pick for him, I'm not trading him.
Yeah, I
We got to
mean,
get a first round. We got to get a first and more, in my opinion.
listen, he's talented, super fast. He's hurt all the time though. I mean, I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger. Maybe it's because it's in division and
Yeah,
like
it
you
was
don't trade
probably.
in
Yeah, I
division,
mean that probably played a part of
whatever.
it.
But I don't know. I mean, as the season goes on, is his value going to go up? I doubt it. So,
The
like,
one thing about Waddle though, when he played after Tyreek, I mean, he
yeah,
showed games where he was like, okay, I get it.
yeah,
He can be that superstar. I guess my counter argument to my saying like, do we really want to trade him is by the time we're good in 2-3 years, what
what
is
I'm
Waddle
saying
going to be? Is he?
exactly.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly. And I don't think he's. I mean, again, he's always hurt. He's undersized. I mean, I think you move him, you get what you can from him, and if it's first round or early second round, you live with it.
Yeah, I think you can get a first for him. I don't think that's a problem. I guess if you take Waddle out of the fold, I mean, man, like I said, I've talked about it where you have Devon, you have Waddle now. I mean, dude, those are two really good pieces offensively. So like, do they? I mean, I don't
We're
know. I'm just saying,
we're,
like,
we're gonna win one or two games this season. So like whether we have Waddle and HN or we don't,
but
that's
I'm
not.
saying, can Waddle and HN be our building blocks and be? Because again, you're gonna like your goal, your hope is okay. You trade Waddle and you're trying to find another Waddle. Like Waddle's still a top, I don't know, 15, 20 receiver in the league. I mean, I don't know what somewhere in that range. Maybe a little more, maybe top 25. Like, what? Okay, but I'm saying, like, if you're telling me we're going to draft a top 25 receiver with the pick we're getting, like, we're in that same position. Yeah, maybe he's a couple years younger, but I don't know. Like, you got to kind of make it worthwhile for me to trade Waddle. Like, I'm not there yet, because I feel like if we get a quarterback that can move a little bit, whether that's Malik or whatever, and we'll talk about it. If we
Yeah,
can get Malik or a quarterback that can use his legs, have Waddle, have HN, you get lucky as shit and you draft a couple like dogs on the O line or D line, and maybe things start showing a little more promise than we hope. Because again, guys, you got to remember, like, how many games last year? And again, I know we had Tua, and he's not going to be the quarterback most likely, but how many games were we right there to win? Had a chance to win. Like we won 6 games last year, 7 games. What was it? I don't even know. Like so frustrated from last year, but it was 6 or 7 games. But we lost like to the Patriots early. We like that Chargers game. Jalen Phillips was a sack away from ending that ball game, and he threw it to Ladd McConkey, and we lost. Like there were a lot of games like that where the offense can be very similar. And Tua sucked last year. Like we get a quarterback that's somewhat competent with some of those weapons. Like why not? Why do we have to win 2 to 3 games next year?
I mean,
it's probably going to happen. I agree, but I'm saying you get rid of Waddle, like we're going full, like we're going full on. Like this is like full. Like we have pieces. We have some pieces. It wasn't like 2019 when we had nobody. We have some pieces.
The worst you can be in any sports is middle of the pack.
And I get that, but if we were middle of the pack, if in the sake of God blessing this team and we became middle of the pack this year, you wouldn't think that was a successful season from where we're supposed to be? What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's the worst place you can be.
We're in the worst place when we were expecting to win and be in the middle. We're not expecting to do anything. If this team comes in with 6 or 7 games,
it's where we land at. Like if we have it, they're not going to put us over the hump. They haven't. They're not going to.
Yes, you don't think that there's a difference from the team when we went all in with Tyreek and Watt and Tua and Darren, all these guys, we went all in and we still finished 6 and 7 wins, middle of the pack, versus a team that is completely tearing it down. They just got rid of 4 of their 3 of players that, were supposed to be big impact players for us. They just cut them. 2 is going to be gone. And we still win 6 or 7 games. You don't think that would be a successful season for this?
I mean, if you have a decent quarterback, we're kind of looking like what you're explaining sounds like the 49ers to me. So like Brock Purdy came out of nowhere. They started winning.
What I'm saying is that just the expectation of like where we were 2 years ago to where we have no expectations.
I get we don't have any expectations, but I'm talking about what the team performs at. So like even if we keep Waddle, we keep Achane, and we somehow, find a gem and we get a quarterback, even if we're middle of the pack, is that really helping us in the long run? Or is that just like a small, like
a Band-Aid?
Yeah, a small Band-Aid. And like, I like Waddle, but like, I think you
can find I'm shocked. Waddle's your favorite player.
He is my favorite player, but I also know you could find another Waddle. Like you could find another Achane. Like get what you can from him, rebuild, and go from there. Because I honestly don't think we're going to get lucky enough to be competitive in this first draft. So I think it's going to take at least 3 years minimum because we have so many things to fix.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I don't think they're going to trade him, but like I said, if you give me a first round pick and some, like, see ya. Like I'm okay with that. I'm not saying I'm not like you got to keep Waddle, you got to keep it. Like I don't really care. But if the value's there, if like a team gives you an offer you can't refuse, no problem. But I don't think they're going to be actively looking to do it. Now, I wanted to say to our viewers, next week, this upcoming week here, the draft combine starts in Indy. I feel like there's going to be a lot of movement going on. These are all the owners and GMs and whatnot are all in the same place. A lot of talking. So I feel like there can be some news, whether it's with Tua, maybe with Waddle, with some trade talks, whatever it may be. I feel like we're starting to get into that season where, there's going to be some news on the Dolphins. Free agency is right around the corner as well. So I think this next upcoming week will give us some more clarity of how things are going to go. So it should be interesting. I wanted to go back really quick, though, Cass. I don't know if you saw the Teron Armstead and Jalen Waddle interaction on Teron's podcast the other day. There was a lot of things that they talked about, but I wanted to highlight a little bit to kind of wrap up the Tyreek type thing and the Chubb, cutting. That 2023 season, they specifically talked about that, about how they felt if that team did not get injured. Obviously Tua got hurt. The whole team got depleted towards the end of the year, but they specifically talked about that 2023 year. If injuries were not a thing, that could have been a Super Bowl team. What were your thoughts on that? What do you think? What do you think about that? And because again, for me, that 2023 season was probably one of the best seasons of my life in terms of a Dolphin fan.
Yeah. So that was the 70 against Denver, right? Season.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
that was the that was the
Yeah.
Tyreek like year that he went
Yeah.
off.
I remember that, and I remember at the beginning of the season, you were very excited, and you're like, "We're going to the Super Bowl," and I was
Yep.
like, "Calm down." And then after the 70 game, I was like, "We're going to the Super Bowl." I was all in. But again, I agree with you. That was the most exciting season of my life as a Dolphins fan. We were celebrating like touchdowns, end zone, like crazy. It was like the Miami like hot team was back, and then it was just short lived. That was the one season too where I was starting to doubt if I was wrong about Tua. But
Yeah, and remember that was the season where they were on the road opening week.
yep,
Tua lit up the Chargers.
yep,
Like
yep,
Tyreek was going off. Yeah,
yeah,
they had the 70-point game that year, and that was the year where they had. I don't know. It might be me because the two games, for the fans, I'm from Chicago, so I just moved down to Florida the last 3 years. I never obviously being in Chicago, never really going to Dolphin games in person. But since moving here, the two games that I've been to, I was at the Titans game that year in 23 when that wreck started, when we blew that 14-point lead late, and then I was at the Jets game when we won, but that was the Tyreek catastrophic injury. So I feel like I might be a problem, but that year of 2023 was special. I mean, it was a special year until the end.
yeah. It's cool to see that the players felt the same way. And it sucks that our window was so short. But hey, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, that was, man, dude, like you know, we had it. We had the lead, and I think we were 3 games up with like 4 to play or something crazy, and we fell apart. And that Sunday night football game with the Bills at home, the final game of the regular season, to win the division, to host a playoff game, to be the 2 seed, we lost that game, and then we had to go to one of the coldest playoff games in
Yeah,
NFL history, and it was like a feel of like negative or whatever. It was like no chance in hell in Kansas City. And man, yeah, I don't know if this was a Super Bowl team, but I think that was the year that the playoff drought ended. I felt like that was the
yeah,
year.
yeah,
And we had the offense to do it. It's just, in typical
yeah,
Dolphin fashion, it just things don't go our way. And it's sad. It's sad that is officially wrapped up.
yeah.
Pretty much that entire team is going to be gone in some capacity. Obviously, coaches are gone. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to think where we are now.
You just got to look forward, man. You
Yeah.
can't live in the past. I do have a question for you. This is a little off topic, a little
Yeah.
the Dolphins topic, but still on football topic. You're from Chicago, but
Yep.
you're a lifelong Dolphins fan. But almost all of your family, except your pops, is a Bears fan.
Bears. Yeah.
Looking like they're going to move to Indiana.
I did see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hot topic in some circles. And
I was going to say, how do you feel about that? I mean, you know how.
I mean, I don't care.
Well, how does your family feel about
They
it?
can move to Wyoming. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? They don't
How does
bother
your
me.
diehard family feel about that? Because
Yeah,
my
they're
family also diehard Bear fans from Chicago, and they hate it.
yeah. I feel like you know it could be worse. They're going
Yeah.
like 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal for like coming from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
But I get it. The Dolphins moved to. I mean, they're not technically in Miami. They're in Miami Gardens, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same shit.
Yeah. They could move to Orlando. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would too.
Yeah,
It'd
I
be
would too.
quick drive for us, but
To
yeah,
me,
yeah,
to
it
me,
should be,
it's kind of like just like the Jets, right? They're in New Jersey. They're called the New York
yeah,
Jets.
right.
Probably
Yeah,
gonna be
there's
something
teams.
similar.
The Chiefs are doing it. The Chiefs are moving
Yeah.
from where they're at, so
Yeah.
it's a money grab. It's a play. I think the Bears would get a sweet deal with that. The one thing that I found interesting though, which if they decide to do that, they're going to be building a dome stadium, which
Yeah.
is ironic because I feel like one of the big, specifically being a South Florida team or just a Florida team or a warm weather team, that is sign me up for that. That's a team of,
Yeah.
if we have to
Yeah.
play them in December or whatever,
Yeah.
that's fine. Go ahead, be in a dome all you want. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it should be interesting. Kind of what happens there. There's a lot of that stuff going on.
Yeah. All right. So I do want to talk. You said we were talking about. We'll get back on track with the Dolphins now. I appreciate you letting me like have a little sidebar.
Yeah. Don't do it again, but it's okay.
Okay. I do want to talk about. We talked about like, hey, trading Waddle and H-hand and stuff. But
Yeah.
there's a possibility. I know we're not gonna. It doesn't look like we're gonna get your boy, which I told you was gonna happen. But it's okay. You don't have to listen to me. We're not gonna. It doesn't look like we're gonna get Malik. So let's talk about like what our other options are. So obviously we could just stick with what we have and hope for the draft, but we have some trade candidates out there, some quarterbacks that are available, right?
Yeah. So to the viewers, just we all know how I feel about Malik Willis, but it seems like, as you mentioned, every day that is going on, his number that he's going to get guaranteed continues to rise. I mean, we were initially thinking he was going to get the Justin Fields, $20 million a year type deal, 2-year deal. There ain't no way that's happening. This guy might get between $35 and $40 million the way things are going. It's a light quarterback class, and it is a light free agency class. So I don't think the Dolphins are going to be able to do it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope, he wants to be in Miami and he figures it out, but whatever. But I'm going to give you some names of trade candidates, and I want to just talk about each one because, again, I think the Dolphins are going to be in on a lot of these guys. So the first one I wanted to talk about is Will Levis, which I talked about this on my last episode. I did not realize that we would needed to trade for him. I thought he was a free agent, but we saw him. We played against him.
Give me the names of the four because I don't think we need to talk about Will Levis.
Okay, Will Levis. Let's talk about Will Levis really quick.
Okay.
He's athletic. You're
forcing me to do this. I just
I'm forcing you, yes, because this is one of our topics. Okay, Will Levis. Okay. All right. He didn't play all last year. They obviously got Cam Ward, who's the guy in Tennessee. Yeah. He had a shoulder problem. Yeah. He's young. He's athletic. He has a good arm. We saw that when he played in Miami. Like, is he raw? But sure. We're in a position where we need a quarterback that is cheap, that has upside, that can compete with Quinn Ewers most likely. Why wouldn't we do that? We would give him a 6th-round pick. They would do that in a heartbeat.
Why would we do that? I mean, just draft a quarterback and
No. Let's preface. We're going to draft a quarterback in this year's draft, whether that's the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. That's guaranteed. We're going to do that. Yeah. Quinn Ewers and Will Levis fight it out. Why wouldn't we do that?
Why would you want Will Levis? That's the thing. Why?
Because again, he's athletic. And he's young, and he won't cost anything. What's his contract? I don't even know. His contract's probably nothing.
Listen, so all NFL players are good. I'm going to say that, okay? So all NFL players are good. But compared to other NFL players, he is no one that you just want to start rebuilding.
Okay, obviously.
I mean, if you want to lose a bunch of games, let's have at it. That's what you did in Tennessee.
All right, I don't think that's fair. No,
so if that's what you want to do, all right, bring them in.
That's not fair. That's not fair. Will Levis makes a lot of sense, but okay, you don't like the Will Levis. No. Here's another one that we just kind of talked about with the Chicago Bears. Their backup, Tyson Bagent, who's played very well with them. He was obviously Caleb Williams' backup, and Caleb's obviously went off last year, so maybe that is a candidate. I don't know what we would. From reports talking to my brother, who's a big Bear fan, and the circles there, they're very high on him. But I don't, that one, again, athletic. He's young. He makes plays. He has a good arm. That can be someone that maybe the Dolphins look into.
Sure. I don't know much about him, but sure. I'll say sure.
Okay. So you don't like that one. All right. What about this one? Anthony Richardson, who has a bazooka of an arm. Don't even get me started on Anthony Richardson. I love me some Anthony Richardson. Yeah. Bazooka, big, can run, can make any throw, any play he wants. He just needs to figure out the scheme and understand reading defenses. You trade him, they're gonna re-sign Daniel Jones.
Okay, he went to Florida, right? He played Florida.
He played at Florida. Yeah.
So I think
he only had, I believe, 10 starts though. He was a first-round pick. He had 10 starts or whatever in Florida. Yeah. He's raw.
Yeah, he's very raw, and I'm gonna say this. Okay, everything you said about him is correct. He's big.
Bazooka arm. Did you hear me? Bazooka.
Yeah, he could be he's very Cam Newton-ish, right? He's very Cam Newton-ish. There is a lot of red flags with him, and that's why he got replaced. But the effort like checking himself out of the game. I don't remember if you know that the effort is
Yep.
there. And then it's just like, when has he shown us that he could be the franchise quarterback? And maybe but hey, maybe this is like, he has all the tools, and maybe it's a system thing. So I would be willing to, like, yeah, if it's a low price, like, why not? Let's take a shot, see how it works out in our system.
Did I say he had a bazooka arm? Did I mention that? Okay.
I mean, you have to be accurate too, but
that's fine. Cass, I think we're in two different headspaces here. I feel like I'm being the reasonable one here. I'm being reasonable, which is not normal.
I said take a shot.
I know, but like, you're talking about like, oh, franchise quarterback. Yeah. Why would we want Will Levis? Listen, if we're not getting Malik Willis, who's going to cost us, we need a quarterback that is going to be cheap.
Franchise quarterback either, but go ahead.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is you're like, you're wanting someone who's like for sure going to win. Like, we don't know. We need guys that like have upside.
Yeah,
that you're taking shots. You're trying to find Sam Darnold. You're trying to find the next Sam Darnold, the Baker Mayfield.
I don't want the next Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's good.
You just want a Super Bowl.
Yeah, he did, but also, like, okay, there's other quarterbacks that won Super Bowls that you don't want as your franchise. Okay.
You would not take Sam Darnold right now for the Dolphins?
I'm not saying I wouldn't take him. Like, I'm not in a position not to take players of that caliber. He's very good. All I'm saying is I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
He might be one of the. Listen,
our goal right now.
This is going to sound very haterish, but he might be one of the worst quarterbacks to win the Super Bowl. Okay.
I mean, that's okay. He didn't make mistakes.
Okay.
That's fine.
That is okay.
I'm not arguing that. Yeah. Yes. I'm not saying he's a top 5 quarterback. No. But you don't need that. You need guys who just don't make mistakes. Tua fucking turned the ball over too much.
That's fair enough.
Tua turned the ball over. Like, that's his name.
You have trauma from. It's like Tua's like your ex-girlfriend. So it's like you're treating your new girlfriend like the trauma from your ex-girlfriend. You're like, hey, it's better than Tua. Give me the bazooka arms. So
yes.
The guy that can throw. And
I think that's where the
difference is.
Let me ask you a question. As the Dolphin community, how will you feel when our quarterback runs for a first down?
Yeah, it'll be great.
It'll be great. So you have to understand, we have, as you mentioned earlier, we have so many holes on this team, specifically on the offensive line.
Yeah.
We need a quarterback that can freaking move. It's not guys, this is not rocket science. Will Levis can do that.
Yeah, I'm good. Anthony Richardson is where I'm at right now. Out of the 3 that we need. What's the last one?
Okay, the last one, which you're not gonna like, is Spencer Rattler, who's gotten some starts with the Saints, but obviously they found their guy in Tyler Shutt. Like, we gotta think outside the box here. We need quarterbacks that have.
I will say Rattler.
And he's a smaller guy, I believe. So I don't know if I like that.
He's a smaller guy as well. I don't know. He's not as mobile either, but I will say, like, he does have some upside. That I don't.
They all have upside.
I mean, you talk about how much though, but like supposedly he's supposed to have a lot of upside, and maybe it's a system thing. And I'm not like, some guys look really good in some systems and really bad in other systems. So you never know what any of these 4 guys. Like I said, they're all studs. They made it to the NFL. They're all good. And a lot of times it comes down to systems too. So maybe we get one of these guys in the system.
So really quick, just rank these real quick. So Anthony Richardson would be your number 1, obviously.
Yeah.
And I would have to assume, man, what are you going to have to give them though? That's the thing. A 5th.
I'm not trading for any 4 of these quarterbacks unless it's very cheap.
Will Levis would be like a 6th round pick.
If I'm
Spencer Rattler, probably.
I don't know if I want to give a 6th round for him. I mean, I don't know.
Come on. The only guy that I think that would
just got picked in the 5th. Why would I want to give a 6th round up?
The only guy I think that would cost more would be the Bears guy, Tyson Bagent. I think they would want more because they like him. But Anthony Richardson's going to want out. All right, let me ask you this. If you, right now, today's February 21st, we have a long time to the season starts in September. But if you had to guess right now, who is going to be the starting quarterback for the Dolphins week 1?
Someone already on the roster or someone.
You think Quinn Ewers then?
Yeah. It's gonna be that or someone we draft.
Guys. Okay. Quinn Ewers is not their guy. Is not their guy. He did not get drafted by this regime. They don't give a fuck about Quinn Ewers. I'm sorry, they don't.
Ty, I think you are expecting the Dolphins to be competitive this year and try to win.
I'm
They're not going to. They're not going to be able to, even if they wanted to. This is going to
okay.
be a
I agree.
very bad season.
My tone has settled over the last week. I texted you today and I said I'm very depressed as a Dolphin fan because I know what is coming.
Yes.
But that is why I want them to get a quarterback that is not Quinn Ewers. Like, fine, I don't mind Quinn Ewers being a guy that he competes with, but like, guys, they did not draft him. They have no ties to this guy.
I don't. Again, I would be highly surprised. This is my final answer, and you can be upset with it if you want. This is my final answer: is unless anyone, I don't care who it is, comes at a very cheap price tag. I don't think they're trading for a quarterback right now because they're not in a position where.
Yeah, but all those guys we mentioned are going to be cheap for the most part.
Okay, so take a shot. Take a shot. Yeah. Anthony Richardson would be my number one.
That would be as soon as Malik Willis signs his deal with another team for $45 million or whatever crazy number he's about to get.
Yeah.
The first call I'm calling is the Indianapolis Colts. I've said this multiple times. Yeah. I said it on Twitter.
It's tough.
He's the guy that just gives you. But you're not going to be excited to watch Anthony Richardson be a Dolphin. Like, dude, he gives excitement. He gives like, what if? Like, maybe if he's in the right system, maybe if he does, if he does this, like, he can be a guy where we solve the quarterback position. He might be the most athletic quarterback in the NFL.
I just don't know. And here's the thing, though. I don't know if they're trading him because Daniel Jones.
They're trading him. He's going to want out, dude.
Who's going to quarterback for them then?
Who?
The Colts.
Daniel Jones. They're going to re-sign him.
He told
and they have another. They have the guy
He's
from
not
Notre
be
Dame
back to start the season.
I know, but they didn't even give Anthony Richardson play when he got hurt.
That's true.
I think they have the Notre Dame kid.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Riley Leonard, I think they have.
Yeah.
Who they like.
We'll see what happens. Maybe they'll want to.
Yeah, we'll wrap up here. We're going a little longer than normal. I just wanted to get your thoughts though on Tua. Is there any way Tua stays? No. I mean, because again, we're assuming that they're going to cut him or trade him, obviously. But if you really look at his contract, I mean, dude, the Dolphins are going to be taking a massive cap hit. Like, keeping him on the roster will, in theory, give them the most amount of cap space available. Yeah. But what do you think? Do you think they even give him? I mean,
if they keep him, it's just for the money. But I do think that they do what Denver did with Russ and just say, here's the dead money. Yeah. I think they're looking to just be done with the old regiment and move on, because it's not even like the old regiment was just like bad on the field, but they were bad in the locker room as well. And I think that's part of like this whole thing. So I'm pretty sure they're either going to like do something where they trade them and the Dolphins pay a certain percentage or whatever, or buy a certain part of this contract, or they're just going to dead money him like Russell Wilson. At least in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree. I find it interesting that a lot of people are talking about still keeping him and, just keeping him on the roster and basically IRing him, or like he's never going to play, but at least keeping him on the roster so that way they have the most amount of resources in terms of money that they could potentially get. So, I mean, I get it, but there's no way they're keeping him. There's just not. I mean, they're willing to move on, and I feel like the conversations. But like I said, we'll wrap it up. I feel like this next week we're going to get some answers, hopefully, and at least some things that maybe can kind of lead into some other things that they'll be doing once the combine starts and free agency is right around the corner. But it's going to be very interesting. I just hope and pray that Malik Willis comes to the Miami Dolphins.
All right, man.
Well, thank you guys for joining, and keep a lookout, and we'll be back on the air in a few more days. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
See ya.